G'day everyone. China, a land of ancient wisdom and stunning landscapes, is also facing a silent crisis. For decades, China's economy has boomed, its cities turning into futuristic wonderlands. But beneath the shiny surface, there's another story, a story of millions left behind. This is the story of China's aging population, a ticking time bomb threatening to unravel this society. We're going to explore this crisis, showing the tough realities faced by millions of elderly Chinese. Get ready to look past the fancy buildings and see the human cost of China's economic miracle. China's economic rise has been nothing short of incredible. In just a few short decades, it's gone from a predominantly farming society to a global superpower, with cities that rival the most advanced in the world. But this rapid and unprecedented growth has come at a significant price. Millions of elderly Chinese, the very people who toiled to build this economic powerhouse, now face a future filled with poverty, loneliness, and neglect. By 2040, a staggering 400 million Chinese citizens will be over the age of 60. That's more than the entire population of the United States. This looming aging crisis is a direct result of government policies, such as the one-child policy, which have created a severe population imbalance. The consequences of this neglect are enormous, threatening not just the well-being of millions of elderly, but also the social and economic stability of China itself. When we think of modern China, we picture bustling cities like Shanghai and Beijing, with their massive skyscrapers and vibrant streets. These cities show China's economic power, but they only tell part of the story. The gleaming towers and busy markets are just one side of the coin. Go beyond the glitz and glamour of these urban centers, and you'll find a different reality, a reality that is often hidden from the world. In the countryside and on the edges of megacities, millions of elderly Chinese are struggling. They face daily challenges that are unimaginable to those in the cities. These are the forgotten faces of China's economic miracle, the ones left behind. Their lives are marked by hardship and neglect. Their stories are often heartbreaking, filled with poverty, isolation, and a sense of abandonment. They live in conditions that starkly contrast with the prosperity seen in the cities. This contrast between the modern and the traditional, the rich and the poor, shows the deep inequalities in Chinese society. It is a tale of two worlds within one nation. Across rural China, a spooky thing is happening: the rise of ghost villages. These once thriving communities are now eerily silent, with empty homes and deserted streets. These are villages where young people have left for the cities, leaving behind an aging population struggling to get by. The elderly are left to fend for themselves, often with little support. In some villages, up to 70% of the people left are over 60. This demographic shift has profound implications for the social fabric of these communities. They live in rundown houses, farm small plots of land, and rely on tiny government pensions. The infrastructure is crumbling, and basic services are often lacking. These ghost villages show the human cost of China's rapid urbanization. The migration to cities has left these rural areas hollowed out and struggling to survive. They're also a scary look into the future as more rural areas lose their young people. The trend shows no signs of slowing down, raising concerns for the future. The stories of these elderly villagers are a mix of resilience and despair. They have endured much, but the challenges they face are immense. They're survivors, but their future is uncertain. The question remains: what will become of these ghost villages and the people left behind? For centuries, Chinese society respected its elders. Filial piety, the idea of respecting your parents and ancestors, was a core value. Kids were expected to care for their elderly parents. But this tradition is struggling. China's rapid economic change has broken down traditional families. Young people are moving to cities, leaving their aging parents behind. The one-child policy has made this worse, creating a generation of adults responsible for 2 aging parents and maybe 4 grandparents. China's aging population problems didn't happen overnight. Experts have been warning about this for decades, but these warnings were ignored as the government focused on economic growth. The chase for bigger and better economic numbers was more important than dealing with the long-term problems of an aging population. Now, the consequences are impossible to ignore. The rapidly aging population is straining healthcare, social security, and the economy. For many elderly Chinese, life is a daily struggle. With small pensions, rising healthcare costs, and less support, many face impossible choices. Some collect rubbish or sell small things on the streets to survive. Others rely on the kindness of strangers or charities, which are often overwhelmed. The stories of these elderly citizens show the human cost of this crisis. They show resilience, but also a society that hasn't protected its most vulnerable. The one-child policy, started in 1979 and ended in 2016, has left a huge mark on China. It slowed population growth, but it also created a population imbalance with big consequences. Today, millions of elderly Chinese have only one child to rely on. This is a huge burden on the younger generation. Even more tragic are elderly couples who've lost their only child, leaving them with no one to care for them. These Shidu parents represent the saddest consequence of the one-child policy. Ironically, some of China's busiest cities now have neighborhoods filled almost entirely with the elderly. These elderly-only communities show the country's changing demographics. With young people leaving, entire districts are becoming empty, leaving an aging population with fewer resources and support. Businesses are closing, schools are shutting down, and even buses are becoming scarce. China's pension system, meant to provide a safety net for the elderly, has problems. Rural pensions are tiny, often just a few dollars a month. This leaves millions in poverty, forced to choose between food and medicine. With limited government support, many elderly Chinese are turning to other options. Some find refuge in Buddhist temples, working for food and shelter. Others rely on charities and volunteers, but these groups are often stretched thin. The differences in elderly care between city and country are huge. In wealthy cities, elderly people have better healthcare, transport, and social programs. But in rural areas and poorer provinces, elderly care is basic at best. Pensions are lower, healthcare is scarce, and social services are often non-existent. This inequality is a major challenge for the government. As China's population ages, the need for elderly care is exploding. But the country doesn't have enough qualified carers. Caring for the elderly is seen as low-paying and hard work, making it tough to find staff. Public nursing homes have long waiting lists. The Chinese government knows about these challenges. Recently, it started programs to address the crisis. Since 2016, China has been testing a long-term care insurance program in 15 cities. This program gives financial help to elderly people who need help with everyday tasks. But these efforts are just starting and face big challenges. There's no national standard for elderly care, and existing facilities are overcrowded. Despite the challenges, there's hope. Communities are supporting their elderly residents. There are programs for home visits, medical care, and community centers. Volunteers deliver meals, offer company, and provide essential services. The stigma around aging and not wanting to burden their children often stops elderly Chinese from asking for help. Many suffer quietly, hiding their struggles. Reports of neglect and abuse in some care facilities show how vulnerable this aging population is. China's aging crisis is a complex problem with no easy answers. With birth rates falling and people living longer, the number of elderly citizens will only grow. The government needs to act fast to fix its pension system, make healthcare affordable, and create better support for elderly care. If it doesn't, there will be devastating consequences for millions of elderly Chinese and the country's stability. China's aging crisis reminds us that progress has a price. China has made amazing progress, but it can't leave its elderly behind. What you've seen is the reality for millions. It's a call to action for all of us to understand, care, and get involved. If this story has touched you, hit like, leave a comment and share this video. The future of China and the world depends on us caring for our elderly with dignity and respect.